Welcome to Bogglesocks TV. We've got lots of classic and original TV shows. Subscribe now and enjoy the video.
Grandpa in my pocket! There was a lot going on in the Mason house today. Yes! Mum was in the kitchen doing her latest hobby, making fancy dress costumes.
Aren't I just the most beautiful fairy tale fairy that you've ever seen?
And it wasn't just Great Aunt Loretta who was dressing up. We were all going to the Sunnysands fancy dress party. And we all had to be fairy tale characters.
What's so funny? The laugh on the other side of your face when you see what you're wearing.
Grandpa, time to try your costume on. You too, Jason.
What do you think we're going to be, Jason?
I hope it's something good, like a knight in shining armour.
I fancy being a giant. Thought it'd make a change.
But Mum had other ideas for us. Yes, we were going to the fancy dress party as Big Elf, Little Elf.
What do you think?
Very nice.
Very nice. We don't look very nice. We look very fantastical and very fairy tale-like.
I know.
Especially me.
I know.
But you've taken so long making these that you're going to run out of time.
I know. I've still got Dad and Jemima's costume to finish and I haven't even started on my own.
Exactly. You need help. Luckily, I know someone who's absolutely brilliant at making costumes. My very good friend, Mrs. Maridadi.
Mrs. Maridadi wears the most amazing and unusual clothes. Like this. And this.
And here she is now.
Mrs. Maridadi makes them all herself.
Darlings, I came as soon as I heard the terrible news.
What terrible news?
I gather you have a costume crisis, a dressing up disaster, a fancy dress fiasco.
Well, I just said we needed a bit of help.
You need an enormous amount of help. Who made these dreadful costumes?
I did. I thought they were rather good.
Oh, no, darling. The colours clash, the bows are too big, the skirt's too short. Your wand is bent. And what are you two supposed to be?
Big Elf.
And Little Elf.
But you can't possibly be elves. Everybody knows that elves wear green. You cannot have a red elf. And they don't wear big beards like this. These are for gnomes. And what about your caps? Everybody knows that elves wear flower petal caps.
Actually, this is exactly what elves look like.
Oh, yes, and how would you know? You've never seen one. Unless you're telling me you have elves at the bottom of your garden.
I think I'd better get on.
Things weren't going very well for Grandpa, and they were about to get a whole lot worse.
I know what we can use for Grandpa's flower petal cap. This whole thing.
No!
You can't! Grandpa's cap is magic, and when he puts it on, he shrinks, like this, and this, and this.
Catch me if you can!
I'm the only one who knows about Grandpa's magic shrinking cap, and we couldn't have everybody finding out about it now. That would be a disaster.
Give it back, Loretta.
I won't.
But it doesn't look anything like an elf's cap.
It doesn't now, but it will. Oh, try it on for me, please, darling.
No, I don't want to.
Do as you're told, Grandpa.
Oh, come on, don't be a silly elf.
Oh, I had to do something. If Mrs. Maridadi put Grandpa's cap on his head, everybody was going to get the shock of their lives.
Now he's gone for a little lie down. Typical.
Oh, it doesn't matter, darling. Once I've turned this into a divine flower petal cap, he'll never want to take it off. Now, show me what everybody else is wearing. My things, darling?
So off she went to make Grandpa a flower petal cap and to see what everyone else was wearing. It's all right, Grandpa, they're gone.
We've got to get the shrinking cap back, Jason.
But the shrinking cap was already a flower petal cap, and now...
You don't look like a king. You look like a strawberry ice cream sundae. The breeches are too tight, the shirt's not ruffly enough, and the crown is too big.
I thought I looked perfect.
So did I.
I didn't.
And who are you?
A fairy tale princess, of course.
More like the kitchen maid. You'd look better in a sleeping bag, darling, but not to worry. I can fix it. I can fix anything. See what I mean? A flower petal cap? Fixed.
Great! Let's see what it looks like on Grandpa. Don't lurk, Jason. I can't stand lurking. Oi, Grandpa, don't be so lazy. Come on out, try your cap on.
No!
Oh, he always was awkward, ever since he was a little boy.
Let me try Great Aunt Loretta. He might do it for me.
Oh, thank you, Jason. What a helpful little elf you are. Oi, hurry up, Grandpa. Mrs. Maridadi wants you in the garden.
The good news was I had Grandpa's shrinking cap. The bad news was it was covered in flower petals. I've got it, Grandpa. You can come out now.
Well done, Jason.
Of course, Grandpa being Grandpa had a plan.
So, Mrs. Maridadi wants to see me in the garden, does she? Right. Shrinking cap, please, Jason.
Quickly then, shrink, Grandpa, shrink! You know what Grandpa's like when he's got a plan. There's no stopping him. Off he ran through the sitting room and across the kitchen.
There are too many people about. I've got to get her on her own.
Okay, I'll see what I can do.
Oh, where's Grandpa? Did he put his cap on?
Oh, yes.
Should think so too. Where is he then?
I'm not sure.
Gone back to bed, I expect. I never knew such a lazy elf.
Oh, it's no good. They're still not working. They look dreadful. Ghastly. A complete and utter disaster. What are we going to do? I need a clever idea.
You're not going to rip them up and start from scratch, are you, Mrs. Maridadi?
Aha! That's the clever idea.
No way! I love my costume!
I got rid of Jemima
So do I.
and Dad
Actually, I quite like mine as well.
and Great Aunt Loretta.
How dare you run away like that? Come back! Oh, this is too much. Too much.
Now I just had to get rid of
We're
Mum.
working with an artiste of the very highest quality. What are we going to do?
I expect Mrs. Maridadi would like a cup of tea.
I think we could all do with one.
Now it was up to Grandpa.
Well, well, well. If it isn't the famous costume maker, Mrs. Maridadi. Come back. I want to talk to you. Now, there's nothing to be scared of. Not everyone gets to meet a real live elf.
You're an elf?
But of course I'm an elf. Red jerkin, red trousers, fluffy white beard, pointy shoes. What else could I be but a cute little elf?
I don't know. I've never seen a cute little elf before.
This time Grandpa had gone too far.
Oh, you're divine. And you look just like Grandpa and Jason.
Too right I do. And Dad looks just like a fairy tale king, and Jemima is exactly like a fairy tale princess.
Really? Are you sure?
Well, I should know. I come from fairy tale land after all. And as for Loretta, she's the spitting image of all the fairies I've ever met.
Oh, darling, I had no idea. How sweet of you to tell me.
You don't have to do a thing with those costumes. They're perfect just as they are.
I understand, darling.
You go home and leave them to it. But don't tell anyone you met me. No one will believe you anyway.
It'll be our secret. Promise.
And with that, Grandpa jumped off her hand and was gone.
Oh, well, at least I got the flower petal cap right.
Cup of tea, Mrs. Maridadi.
No thanks, darling. I'm going home. You don't need me. You're a wonderful costume maker. I just want to say you all look absolutely divine, as if you just stepped out of a fairy tale. I'm off now to make my own costume. See you at the party.
I always knew she was peculiar.
I rushed out to the garden just as Grandpa came out of his hiding place. He took off his flower petal shrinking cap and came back to his normal size.
You make a great elf, Grandpa.
So do you, Jason. Teamwork, eh?
Teamwork.
We all helped Mum to finish the costumes. And soon we were ready to go to the Sunny Sands fancy dress party. Dad was a king, Jemima was a princess, Great Aunt Loretta was a fairy, and Mum was a pumpkin.
You look divine.
I know.
Come on, let's go.
Put your cap on, Grandpa.
I don't think so.
Sunny Sands is called Sunny Sands because it's sunny and it's sandy and it's right by the sea.
One of my favourite places is Miss Smiley's cafe. And today she was holding a fancy dress party.
It's looking wonderful, Miss Smiley. All the fun of the fair.
It was a medieval fairground theme, so everyone was going to dress up the way they did long, long ago.
Ta-da! What do you think of my medieval costume, CJ?
'Tis most becoming, Mistress Smiley.
Thou is most kind, my lord.
Ha! You are so medieval.
Oh, heck. I've got to go and get the medieval bread out of the medieval oven.
Yes, this was the day for Mistress Smiley's medieval fairground fun. Back at the mill on the marsh, Auntie Jules had been busy making costumes for all of us. I was dressed as a knight, and Elsie was my dragon, and Grandpa was making up a medieval story.
And Norbert, the brave knight, saddled his trusty steed Humperdinck and galloped towards the castle to come before the king.
Just then, the doorbell went.
Who can that be? Not expecting anyone. Listen.
We listened and heard.
Of course we can take her with us to the party. Come in, Belinda Lucinda.
Belinda Lucinda.
Oh no.
Belinda Lucinda is a really bossy girl who lives nearby.
Look who it is. Belinda Lucinda.
And very lovely you look too.
Yes, well, I'm a queen.
Yes, I can see that.
Belinda's coming with us to the party because her mum's been called to a very urgent meeting.
Mummy's got a really important job.
Yes, I know. We were making up a little story. Why don't you join us?
I don't want to be in a stupid babyish story. Not a very real horse, is it?
Only a bit of fairground fun, Belinda Lucinda.
Are you going to the party?
No. I think I might be having a little lie down.
Yes, I suppose you're too old for fairground fun, aren't you?
Oh, yes.
Just then, Uncle CJ came up the stairs.
Green sleeves is my heart of gold.
Ah, a medieval minstrel.
And
Marvellous.
who but my lady Green sleeves? I've just been helping Miss Smiley. The cafe looks amazing. So medievally.
I think it's all silly.
Oh, come on, Belinda Lucinda, cheer up. What about Jules? What's she going as?
I'm a medieval fortune teller. And look, I've made a crystal ball out of an old fishbowl.
What's inside?
Ah, that's the flower of the future. My new hobby, making paper flowers.
Does it actually do anything?
Well, yes. If I bend down, it whispers to me. It tells me things. It tells me what's going to happen in the future.
Ha! That's ridiculous.
Right, we're all ready, so let's get into Campo. We have to go to Mr. Mentor's lighthouse so Jules can give him his costume.
Come on, everyone. See you later, Grandpa.
This medieval fairground thing better be good or else.
Queen Belinda Lucinda is going to ruin the day unless we do something.
Not the shrinking cat, Grandpa!
Catch me if you can.
When my grandpa shrinks, everyone thinks he's gone for a little lie down.
But he gets up to all kinds of mischief. And his magic can make things go.
Like the Captain Dumbletwit spaceship and the Sunny Sands train.
And he can hide in teeny tiny places. And today he'd hidden here.
Boo!
In my pocket. Quick, Grandpa. Just then, this happened.
You're talking to a toy ostrich? How babyish. Your uncle says hurry up. Come on. Hurry, hurry, hurry.
We had to go, but we knew Grandpa would find a way of coming too.
Right. Mrs. Ostrich to the rescue.
So we all got into Campo, and Auntie Jules said,
I can't wait to see what Mr. Mentor's invented for the party.
And Belinda Lucinda said,
Well, if you ask your flower of the future, then she'll tell you, won't she?
at the lighthouse, Mr. Mentor wanted to show us what he'd invented for Mistress Smiley's Fairground fun.
Now this is my trumpety trumpet. Isn't it whizzy woodlesome?
Mr. Mentor doesn't just invent things, he invents words too.
What's it meant to do?
Well, it's meant to make this noise. And when it does, it will be spectacular.
It'll never work.
Belinda Lucinda was being so rude.
Oh, well, now then there's this. My medieval lollipopper. If you pull that lever, then a lolly should pop.
So I pulled the lever, but nothing happened.
None of your inventions ever work.
Well, they will eventually. They just need a bit of time to think about it. Now, I wonder which one will be the first.
Oh, Mistress Fortune can tell you that. Her flower of the future knows what's going to happen.
Really? Oh, Jules, do show.
It's just a bit of fun.
So everyone gathered round, and Aunt Jules talked to her crystal ball. Just then, this happened.
Nobody saw him flying in on Mrs. Ostrich.
Auntie Jules started talking to her flower.
Flower of the future, flower all-knowing, which invention will get going?
Well, which one? Which one will start first?
Ha! She doesn't know.
The lollipopper. Yes, the medieval lollipopper is going to work, Mr. Mentor.
As soon as Grandpa heard this, he ran across the floor, climbed up onto the counter, and got into the back of the lollipopper machine.
Suddenly, the helmet began to shudder, and the visor opened, and a lolly shot out.
Brilliant!
I've no idea how I knew that.
Time to be off to the cafe now. We'll help you with your inventions. Perhaps they'll all work once we're at the cafe. And I must get my costume on. See you there!
Grandpa quickly got out of the lollipopper and jumped onto the floor and set off on Mrs. Ostrich. At the party, everyone loved Mr. Mentor's inventions.
Aren't they lovely and very medieval looking?
Pity they don't work.
The lollipopper works.
Fluke.
Ta-da!
Oh, Mr. Mentor, you've come as a jester.
I certainly have, Mistress Fortune. Straight from the court of the Queen. And all my inventions look wonderful. Oh, look.
I knew Grandpa would be on his way, and sure enough, he got off Mrs. Ostrich and climbed up the table leg and right up onto the trumpety trumpet. And just in time, because Belinda Lucinda said...
So how's this silly trumpet thing going to make a noise then, huh?
Without her seeing, Grandpa got behind it and trumpeted away.
Like that, I guess.
There she blows!
Put the lovely inventions in the storeroom so there's more room for these.
And while everyone made room for Miss Smiley's cakes, Grandpa got down off the trumpety trumpet, he jumped onto the floor and ran to find me. He had a plan.
Grandpa always has a plan.
You've got to get me inside Auntie Jules's crystal ball. And then ask Belinda Lucinda to take it into the storeroom.
Okay. So I picked Grandpa up and took him to Auntie Jules's crystal ball. He hid right under the flower. Can you take this to the storeroom?
Okay, maybe it'll tell me my fortune. Well, little flower, what's going to happen next then, eh?
And Grandpa said,
I can tell you exactly.
What?
You're going to start to be nice.
What?
And you're going to say sorry to Mr. Mentor, Miss Smiley, and Jules.
Right.
And then you're going to start to enjoy the party and let everyone else enjoy it too.
Okay, I will.
Promise me?
I promise.
Hi.
The flower of the future is amazing. I'm going to go and tell your Auntie Jules how clever she is.
Done. Get me out of here, Elsie.
So, I got Grandpa out and put him in my pocket. When Belinda Lucinda had said sorry to everyone for being so rude, she started to enjoy the party.
I found your ostrich, Elsie. Sorry I was a bit hurried about it. It's actually really sweet.
When the medieval party was over, we all came home. We ran upstairs and Elsie put Grandpa down.
Move, Grandpa, quick! I'm glad you came. Belinda Lucinda was going to ruin the whole thing.
Well, I couldn't have stopped her without both of you helping me. And what do we call that?
Teamwork!
Oh, Grandpa, you missed such a good party.
Even Belinda Lucinda had a nice time.
And guess what? She thought my flower of the future was actually real. She actually did. Oh, I do wish you'd been there to see it, Grandpa.
Dumbletwit costumes.
Oh no! It's diabolical Dave!
I'm coming to get you, Captain Dumbletwit!
Oh no, you're not! You'll never catch me!
And Elsie was Panicar, Captain Dumbletwit's pot plant alarm.
It's Panicar! Let me see.
We were going to Miss Smiley's cafe for Captain Dumbletwit's dress-up party.
Where's Doogit, my trusty alien pet?
I'm here, Captain Dumbletwit.
Captain Dumbletwit is everyone's favourite cartoon.
I'll get it. Doogie to the rescue.
I've captured Captain Dumbletwit's spaceship.
Oh, no!
Then another Captain Dumbletwit cartoon character turned up. An alien poodle.
Really? It was Mr. Mentor, the inventor.
Oh, you all look fabadiculous.
Mr. Mentor doesn't just invent things, he invents words too.
I'm afraid I've come with some bad news.
Bad news? Don't tell me the party's been cancelled.
No, nothing like that. Someone is back in Sunny Sands. Someone who might try to steal my inventions.
Who?
Mr. Greater, the creator.
Mr. Greater, the creator?
Shouldn't you be back at the lighthouse guarding them?
Oh, no need. I've invented a Brilioso burglar blaster. It's an alarm. I got the idea from Captain Dumbletwit's Panicar.
Does it mean it goes like this? Wow!
Exactly like that, only louder. Loud enough to be heard all over Sunny Sands. So when I'm out, I'll know that Mr. Greater is up to mischief.
I'd really like to see this Brilioso burglar blaster.
Me too.
And me? Can we go to the lighthouse on our way to the cafe, Jemima? Please?
But what about Grandpa? He can't get up all those stairs.
Oh, don't you worry about me. I'll have a little lie down, then I get a taxi to the cafe.
Okay. Dad, we're ready to go now.
We should go too. Oh,
I knew what Grandpa was thinking.
I want to make sure that the Brilioso burglar blaster is working properly.
Knowing Mr. Ment, it probably isn't.
Mr. Greater the Creator is always trouble and he's got to be stopped. But it's all right, because I've got this.
Not the shrieking cat, Grandpa!
Catch me if you can.
You know what happens when Grandpa shrinks. Come back! He runs about so fast I can't catch him. He zooms about in Jason's toy car. And chuffs in the Sunny Sands train. He uses his magic to make things fly. He even makes my Mrs. Ostrich fly, which is amazing, because ostriches don't fly, actually. And my helicopter. And Gordon the seagull. But because he was being Captain Dumbletwit today, he took the spaceship.
Captain Dumbletwit, off to save the universe.
Grandpa zoomed out of the window and flew off to the lighthouse at top speed. Mr. Greater was already there, but nobody knew because the Brilioso burglar blaster wasn't working.
Then something really bad happened. The spaceship flew in and Mr. Greater the Creator saw it.
Goodness gracious! And golly gosh! A Captain Dumbletwit spaceship that actually flies! Mr. Mentor is cleverer than I thought.
The spaceship landed and Grandpa ducked out of sight.
Mr. Greater wanted to know how it worked. He was about to look inside and see Grandpa, but then he heard us coming up the stairs.
Oh, double dollop of dread!
He put the spaceship down, climbed up the ladder and hid upstairs.
Why? Oh, and no flashing lights. Which means that Mr. Greater the Creator hasn't been here, and everything is safe.
Is this a Brilioso burglar blaster?
It is, and it is truly Brilioso.
There was Grandpa, but we couldn't talk to him.
Josh, Elsie, come and look.
We had to go and look at the burglar blaster.
Are you sure it works? I mean, have you tested it yet?
No? Why? Do you think I should?
Well, it's just your inventions, they sometimes take a while to get going.
That's absolutely true. They are very lazy. I'll test the wah-wah-wah. That's the important bit.
While Mr. Mentor was testing the wah-wah-wah, Grandpa started to make funny signs at us.
But we couldn't understand what he meant. Then Mr. Mentor said,
No, the wah-wah-wah's not working. Oh, how disappointable.
Maybe it just needs a new battery.
No, it doesn't need a new battery.
A new battery, of course. I'll pop down to the shops and buy one. If I can find some money.
I think we should go to the cafe now. I've gone to all this bother with your costumes. No way we're missing the party. Oh.
Then Jemima saw the spaceship.
I didn't know you brought this with you, Josh.
A Captain Dumbletwit spaceship. Spectacular.
Come on, everyone.
Yes, yes.
We can't miss it.
But Grandpa needed the spaceship so he could get away from the lighthouse. So I put it back on the table.
As soon as we'd gone, Mr. Greater the Creator climbed down the ladder.
Grandpa had to fix the Brilioso burglar blaster before he ran off with all Mr. Mentor's inventions. So he sneaked inside.
At Miss Smiley's cafe, we were admiring everyone's costumes.
And at the lighthouse, Mr. Greater was stealing all the inventions. Grandpa fixed the Brilioso burglar blaster and ran back into the spaceship.
All he had to do was wait for Mr. Greater to open the door and the alarm would go off.
Back at Miss Smiley's cafe...
Josh, what have you done with Jason's spaceship? You haven't left it at the lighthouse, have you?
I thought it might be needed.
By Captain Dumbletwit? I don't think so.
Mr. Greater the Creator had got all of Mr. Mentor's inventions and was ready to leave.
He opened the door and this happened. Mr. Greater went into a panic. He didn't know what to do.
That's the brilliant burglar blaster. I told you it needed a new battery. Mr. Mentor must be testing it out.
What if it's not a test? What if it's an actual burglar? It could be Mr. Greater the Creator.
I'll go and see. Maybe Mr. Mentor might need some help.
Don't dollop of brat! Stop it!
Mr. Greater was trying to stop the Brilioso burglar blaster, but he wasn't having any luck.
So he decided to make a run for it instead. But Grandpa stopped him.
Out of my way! Go! Get off!
Just then, in came Mr. Mentor with the new batteries.
Mr. Greater the Creator! Mr. Mentor the Inventor!
Jason rushed in. He stopped the Brilioso burglar blaster.
What are you doing here, Mr. Greater?
Oh, I was just passing by and I thought I'd pop in and say hello. Hello! Anyway, I'd better be off. Wonderful inventions. Wonderful! That spaceship! I don't know how you do it, Mr. Mentor.
No, neither do I.
Well, have a nice day. Bye!
Very strange man he is. Oh, now, I must take a closer look at this spectacular spaceship.
Suddenly, it took off. Grandpa had to get away fast.
Follow it, Jason! Follow it!
He flew the spaceship all the way to Miss Smiley's cafe and landed on the pier. He didn't want to miss out on the party.
Everyone was dancing to the Captain Dumbletwit music, so nobody saw Grandpa running across the cafe and into the storeroom.
Nobody, that is, except us. We went to talk to him.
Cap off, Grandpa, quick! He came back to his normal size.
What happened? Did you catch the burglar?
Sort of. I stopped Mr. Greater from stealing all Mr. Mentor's inventions, and I fixed the Brilioso burglar blaster, so I don't think he'll be back.
Great job, Grandpa.
Well, you helped. I would have had no chance without the spaceship. Teamwork, I call it.
Teamwork!
Mr. Mentor was telling everyone the story.
The spaceship flew out of the lighthouse window. It flew all the way to the cafe by itself. We found it outside on the pier. I must have invented the flying bit without realising.
Everyone was very impressed.
And my Brilioso burglar blaster fixed itself. Quite remarkable.
Yes, remarkable.
Captain Dumbletwit, you've arrived. What took you so long?
Sorry, I was saving the universe.
Very funny. So you managed to get a taxi then?
Something like that.
Well, you've missed all the excitement. Come and sit down and I'll tell you all about it.